Hello, Vammers. You probably don't know me, but my name is Cody, that damn Cynic, and I've been asked by Voice Actor Magazine to do these, editorials, if you will, talking about my opinions about the voice acting industry, as well as the voice acting community as a whole. Now, I'm just gonna put up this disclaimer so no one gets confused. My views and opinions on anything I talk about do not directly reflect the opinions of the rest of the good folks at VAM. All my opinions are my own, and as such, if you disagree with them, by all means take it up with me, not them. Anyway, let's get started. I'm sure all of us are familiar with Sailor Moon. Chances are if you grew up as a North American kid in the 90s, Sailor Moon was the very first anime you watched. If not that, then it was Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z. Both of these shows had a serious impact on Western culture, opening the door for more Japanese imports like Digimon, Monster Rancher, Pokemon, and the list goes on. However, both of these shows were also subject to censorship. You know what I'm talking about. Instead of dying, they were sent to another dimension. They're not lesbians, they're cousins. Goku's father was a brilliant scientist.
But he was a brilliant scientist!
Okay, that's not censorship, but it was still a fucking weird change. So a while back when the Viz Dub of Sailor Moon came out, a friend and I were discussing our opinions on the new cast. At first, I didn't mind the new cast too much. I thought they were passable. I still do, actually. But my friend had a much different opinion to mine. For the most part, he didn't like the new cast at all, and as he stated his case to me, I can understand why. And I think the reason behind that goes even deeper than people realize, so let's start at the beginning. As much as people like to piss all over DiC for slicing up the episodes, changing genders, and even skipping past some of the episodes altogether, the DiC dub actually had some of the best voice actors at that time. And I feel a lot of people overlook that because of all the changes from the original Japanese version. Okay, actors like Katie Griffin as Sailor Mars and Karen Bernstein as Sailor Mercury weren't very good at first, but they quickly adapted and became some of the best actors on the show. Now, when you compare the same scene from each dub side by side, that's when you start to realize that the Viz dub is passable. But that's the problem. The acting is inferior to the original. Here, let me show you.
I'd like to try it, please.
It's your money.
Hey!
That's it. We have a winner! A winner for the Sunset Cruise! The contest's over!
Yay! I won!
I'd like to give it a try.
Sure, you got it.
Huh? Whoa, she's intense, scary. Ah!
Huh? Oh, congratulations! You just won the grand prize! 2 tickets for a romantic cruise!
Yeah, sweet! I won!
What do you want?
I wanted to apologize. I was so happy to see you that I didn't even notice that you were in a bad mood.
No, that's not it.
What?
I just don't have the same feelings for you anymore.
But Darian, I promise I'll study harder at school, really. Okay?
Don't make me say it again. Our relationship is over!
Why don't I believe you? You can't have forgotten how you were Prince Darian and I was Princess Serena? Well, it's our destiny. Well, and even if we weren't meant to be together, well, it just feels right being together, doesn't it?
I don't want to hear any more. Why should my whole life be guided by what happened to us in the past?
Rini's here, isn't she? I know she's just a little kid and all, but I feel like she's replaced me somehow.
Don't be silly.
You're right. I'm sorry, Darian. I guess we weren't meant to be together after all.
Why did you come by?
About this afternoon, I'm sorry. Oh, I guess I was kind of in my own world, so I must not have noticed you were in a bad mood.
That wasn't it at all.
Huh?
I told you I just don't have any feelings for you anymore.
But Momo, if this is about studying harder, I can do that.
You're not getting it. I want our relationship to be over with.
But Momo, how can you expect me to believe that? After all, you're Prince Endymion and, well, I'm Princess Serenity. We've been in love since before we were even born.
I'm so sick and tired of hearing that story. Just because all of that might have happened in the past doesn't mean I have to be with you now. I don't...
It looks like Chibi-Usa is here, isn't she? Momo, could this be because you like Chibi-Usa more than me?
That's ridiculous.
You're right. I'm sorry, Momo. I'm sorry that you had to deal with me for so long.
Did you hear it? If not, let me explain. The clear difference between the two is not that one sucks and the other is just better in all regards. The difference is that one actually demonstrates a more genuine feel for the acting behind the microphone. You can feel Rei's excitement as she wins the lottery prize. You can feel Usagi's sadness when Mamoru makes it clear that they are done as a couple. And that's the important factor here, making the audience feel the emotion that the characters are going through. You feel it because the performances are so good that you believe these characters are real, their emotions are real, that these actors are the characters themselves. That's why video games like The Walking Dead and The Wolf Among Us get such critical acclaim, because the acting is just that damn good. However, when you look at the ViZ Media version, all I can hear is a squeaky clean performance done by the same actors you've heard everywhere else, and of course they gave Usagi the same high-pitched voice you hear from any other schoolgirl anime, giving her little to no identity other than just another magical schoolgirl. I mean no disrespect to Stephanie Sheh or any of the other actors, as I know they're capable and have done much better work in the past. I believe part of the fault lies in the voice direction, because all the actors are just simply one note. There's just no feeling in it at all. The voices fit alright, but they don't sound nearly as natural as the old cast did. Now I know what some of you may be thinking, but Cody, this English cast was handpicked by, I'm sorry if I butcher this, Naoko Takuechi, the writer of the original manga that started it all. Who would know what the characters should sound like better than she? And that's a very good point. Who would know better than her, right? So why should I, some guy on the internet, criticize her judgment? Well, here's something I noticed about the Japanese. They don't know what good acting is. Wait, hear me out! Oh, shit! No, okay, you know what? Let me rephrase that. Stop! They don't know what good English acting is. And here's why I say this. Let's take a trip back to 1996, the year Resident Evil came out on the PlayStation. This game by itself jump-started the survival horror genre, but it was also notorious for its god-awful yet hilarious voice acting.
What is it?
Blood.
Oh, Barry, I love you. But little known fact about that game is that there was originally going to be a Japanese voice track for the Japanese version of the game. However, the game's creator, Shinji Mikami, decided not to use it because he thought the acting wasn't very good. Which is ironic because the English version is notorious for that same reason. And then there's other Capcom games like Mega Man X4.
Ah! No, this isn't happening! There's no reason for me to go on. What? What am I fighting for?
Mega Man 8.
Recover all the energy immediately, Mega Man.
But where is Dr. Wily?
That's a good question.
And even more recent games like Arc Rise Fantasia.
Strange. It's sunny, but it's raining.
The devil must be beating his wife.
Who? Beating his what?
And the English release of Tatsunoko vs. Capcom.
That's hilarious! That's great!
Fantastic! And any games related to SNK Playmore.
Help! An evil witch has hijacked this train!
Let me handle this. Wait. Don't tell me. You are Belle, right?
What? How did you know that? Are you a psychic witch or something?
And then there's this classic scene from the Japanese version of Black Heaven.
Hey, what the fuck? You got a fucking problem?
Now, I suppose you could argue that they just didn't care enough with the more recent ones, and you may be right. That does happen sometimes. But with an RPG like Arc Rise Fantasia, where dialogue and storytelling is a big part of the game, I don't think they would have released it here in the state it was in if they could hear what we've heard. And even games like Yakuza 3 with an all-Japanese cast with so much passion in its writing and characters had at least one American character, and for authenticity, they got a white middle-aged man to voice him. In English. And he sounded like this.
Oh, there are plenty of people who could replace you. And unfortunately, you both know far too much for me to let either live.
Are you starting to see what I mean? When it comes to Japanese creators picking cast members, I think they should just stick to casting for the Japanese side of things, the turf they're familiar with. And they should leave the English casting to people who understand what good English voice acting is. Now, I know there are exceptions to this with creators like Hideo Kojima and his casting choices for Metal Gear Solid. I shouldn't have to mention this, but I know that if I don't, somebody else will. So to close up, I don't think the ViZ Media dub is bad. I just don't think it's quite as good as the DiC dub, simply because of the dry performance we got. I suppose the Viz Dub would be better by default simply because it retained everything that was in the original release, but just imagine how much better it would be if we had the same genuine performance that DiC gave us, and watched the show as it was meant to be seen. That would have been better than what we got in my opinion. What about you? Do you agree? Disagree? Leave a comment below, and thank you for listening. And if you happen to be watching this on YouTube, please consider checking out the Voice Actor Magazine website, where you can view interviews, reviews, and even get tips on how to get involved in the industry. Thank you, and goodbye.
There's a place not so far away.